Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I get your attention, please? Okay, let us start the day. How was the day yesterday? How did you feel? Which session was the best? Don't say that your comparing was the best. Okay. But you were not there. How you can say that? Everybody did. So efforts, right? Good efforts are appreciated. Very good. So let us start today's session. We have a good personality with me today, and he will talk about process safety management and its linkage with Indian legislation. So I request Mr. Wankare to read out his profile, because it is not possible for me to read out his profile. It's such a big profile. So I request Mr. Wankare to come forward and please read out profile of Mr. Vishvanathan.
Mr. Vishwanathan is a graduate engineer in mechanical engineering and a fellow of Institution of Engineers, having more than 35 years of experience in various industries and the government, of which more than 26 years as an occupational safety and health expert in the manufacturing and port sectors. During the last 26 years, he was actively involved in chemical safety and identification of the major accident hazard installations, carrying out HAZOP studies, safety audits, risk assessment, besides organizing and conducting specialized training programs in the field of OSH. He retired as Deputy Director General in DGFA-SLI, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Government of India. He has been actively involved in the administration of the Factories Act 1948, in the processing of the proposal on the comprehensive amendments to the Factories Act 1948, tabled in the Lok Sabha in August 2014, and the revision of the model factories rules prepared by DGFA-SLI for adoption by the state governments. He has also been involved in preparing information for replies to Parliament and the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Labour in connection with the amendments to the Factories Act 1948 and other OSH legislations and safety and health issues in the factories and ports. He has enforced the Dock Workers Act 1986 and regulations framed thereunder, and the manufacture, storage and import of hazardous chemicals rules 1989 framed under the Environment Act 1986 as an inspector under the Act. He has also designed and conducted a number of specialized training programs on OSH in factories and ports in the areas of container handling, chemical safety, HAZOP, competence building measures, accident investigation, training of trainers, TOT, etc. I request Mr. Vishwanathan to take the floor.
Good morning to all. Good morning. So I think now the hall is getting up a little heated up. Okay, so I will start my presentation on process safety management and its linkages to the Factories Act. As you know that process safety management is becoming a very, very important, vital element in safety and health, because many of our things are now getting directly or indirectly related with different types of processes. But still, if you see the Indian Factories Act, there is no direct mention made of a process safety. We talk about hazardous process. In hazardous processes, there are certain provisions for that. We talk about some dangerous operations. We talk about certain responsibilities of the occupier. So what I thought of doing is, I thought of trying to make a linkage of what is process safety management and how you can relate it to our Indian legislations, which is very, very important, because many a time, many serious accidents have taken place, and one of the main reason for this would be the process safety management, failure of the process safety. So I started taking up this after my retirement, as I was briefly read out by our sir, that, that I did so many things. I don't think I did all those things as an individual. It's always the organization to which you are, and that organization requires something to. Okay, so I'll just go through, and anyhow, I have got one slide which I always say that I request all people to keep their mobiles on silent mode. We have a very good, next slide. You can give me the, I know he has read out, so I don't want to add something more, but only thing I would like to add, some disturbances are there, which is blocking my view. That's why I always prefer to have the laptop kept in front of the speaker, so that the speaker can be guided by not seeing and turning his face to the board. Or nowadays in many of the places we have the people asking to keep a set for the speakers. Anyway, so I started doing a lot of things related to PSM implementations and also legal compliance mapping, because these are two things which are very, very, in our country we feel always that legal is something that many people think that they are doing, but really they don't know what they are doing, whether it is a compliance with a legal requirement or whether it's just to satisfy some people. So that is the thing. And also in addition to this, I started finding one area which is a very grey, neglected, I can say, is the construction safety. So construction sector, I am trying to give after my retirement more importance to area which is very, very important for, and where more and more safety and health issues, the safety of the life of the workers in construction is really impacted to a great, because it's still, though we have the act of BOCW Act which has come in 1996, even till today, many of them are still not properly implemented, and the workers are mostly still, which you can call not unorganized, but they are from the poor and many times their safety and health issues become prime importance. Okay, I was also honored as the National Ambassador on Behavior-Based Safety, because I have got a lot of things that behavior is something which impacts most of us. Most of the accidents is that because we have a tendency of taking what I call it at-risk behavior. And more accidents happen because of this behavior of us, that we don't mind, we take a chance. Nothing is happening to me. In our pet dialogue comes that whenever an accident happens to someone else, not to me. See, this is a Wendy thing, and so many of us take this risk. So that was the thing. So coming to this, directly to this, so process safety management. So this is as an OSHA requirement under 29 CFR, that is Code of Federal Regulations, 1910-119. This is a proactive and systematic system identification, evaluation and mitigation or prevention of chemical releases that could result of failure in process, procedures or equipments. So we have got these three things which are very clear to us: the policies or processes, the procedures and the equipment. Now most of our places when you go see, we are getting a lot of issues which are related to the procedures. Now we are developing standard operating procedures, we have got the emergency response plan. So there are many things which are there, but yet these are an area which is highly neglected in I feel. And we in India, we do not have directly any regulations which are related to process safety management. In simple terms, PSM is nothing but a framework to identify and manage process risk. Because now if you talk about ISO 45001, which many of us now think about, it's all about managing risk. Risk, or what we can call, with the aim to get zero harm. Zero harm, when I say, it's zero harm to people, zero harm to process, zero harm harm to equipment, and zero harm to the business reputation. Because businesses can survive only if they are safe, they are risk-free. So that is the thing. So it's a type of a safety management system that is specific for process industries. The ultimate goal of PSM is to prevent occurrence of major hazard incidents which are not addressed through traditional occupational safety and health procedure. So when we talk about occupational safety and health, we talk about plant safety inspection, we talk about hazard identification, we talk about, somebody talks about risk assessments. There are many which are all very traditional, and we are more reactive than proactive. The process safety management takes an approach of a proactive approach where you try to find out what are the process safety issues. So we'll go through those 14 elements shortly. So that is the thing that we are trying to go through the traditional. Traditional safety process is what we are very good at firefighting. We are very good at what we say that an accident investigation. Accident happens, then how to prevent it, how to avoid reoccurrence, that is we are only doing reactive. But this is trying to do something proactively. So PSM is a regulation which was promulgated by OSHA after the incident of the Bhopal tragedy. It proposed to prevent release of reactive toxic flammable. PSM systems are mainly meant for industries handling, storing and manufacturing of hazardous substances. Then this OSHA is the federal agency which is responsible in USA. So the objective is to prevent unwanted release of hazardous chemicals, because that is the most important, especially in locations that could expose employees to and others to serious hazards. So it does not talk only about employees, it also talks to people liable to be affected. There may be people outside the factory, they are also exposed to a process hazard. A PSM program requires systematic approach of evaluating process design, process technology, process change, operation and maintenance activities and procedures, and outlining activities. I think somebody can shift this because isko thoda shift karo. I am not able to see this. Two things are there. So that's a process hazard. Because if I have a laptop in front of me, and this sheet also, then I can see it. Isko just move kar do, bas, thoda sa, bas. Right. So it talks about emergency preparedness, plans, procedures, and training programs. And okay, so you have to keep everybody prepared to handle these situations. Okay. So incidents continue to occur in various industries that are using highly toxic chemicals, which may be toxic, reactive, flammable, or and may exhibit a combination of these. Regardless of the industry that uses these highly hazardous chemicals, there is a potential for accident release at any time if they are not properly controlled. This in turn creates a hazard. So the process has come into this, as we already seen. I just skipped through this. So we know that these are the incidences which are all related to process. And if you see the Pipa Alpha case also, you can prove that very clearly that it was a process safety failure. So what is process safety management? It talks about people, processes and equipment and the system to be integrated, or system integrity. So mechanical integrity is a very important element on process safety. So as I said, PSM is risk-based approach which is proactive, implementing countermeasures to prevent an incident, and the reactive is implementing countermeasures after an incident has occurred, perform hazard analysis and risk assessment, there it perform incident investigation and determine root causes, practice inherently safe design, design and install additional layer of protection. Now we do a lot of layer of protection analysis, and one layer of protection analysis also considers about human factors. That's why we are doing LOPA HF also in this. So foundation of the PSM is for commitment in management and corporate objectives to PSM, hazard assessment, risk management, and continual improvement for furthering of employee competency, enhancing process safety and mitigation. So these are the 14 elements which I just go to the next slide, which talks about process safety information, process hazard analysis, standard operating procedures, employee training, contractor safety code. Many of our incidents are in processes happen because we are more and more contractor safety. Though there is a law which prevents contract workers from working in critical processes. But the most thing is, in many places, we disclosure of information. So for the purpose of evaluating information notified under Rule 5 or Rule 7 to 15. So in the MHIC rules, we have got detailed, elaborate provisions for preparation of safety reports under Rule 10 to 12. You have got 7 to 9 for the notification of site. All these information are provided to the inspectorates while they are processing. This information is supposed to be kept confidential by them, and they are not supposed to disclose it to any other person, and shall not use this purpose for any other person except to the concern for disclosing. And before disclosing that information, he should get the information from the person concerned. Okay. So if I'd like to sum up, I know I'm a little early because of thing, but anybody has, then I will open it up for discussion. That is more important to discuss than to take it as a thing. So PSM requires commitment by the management that things will change. Management must take direct interest in the activities of PSM. Most of the places PSM is now not taking place by the top management. So process safety management becomes a very, very important. All workers are then held accountable for following established procedure for achieving the PSM plan. Now you take a simple thing like I was saying, that the management of change process. Now when you take about management of change, generally it is a thing is happening in our country is what is somebody proposes it. He initiates it and it stops there. And he thinks, I am the person, I have to take the decision. He does not think about that whether this is going to, yes. So when I do it myself, there is no control over me. Then I am liable that at times I could make a mistake also. And if I make a mistake, then nobody wants to think, "Arey, unke saath kyun panga lena hai?" So we say that, why do we take? But if you have a process of change process, where you go to the next level, somebody is supervised, then he may find out there may be some deviation. Then he may ask you a certain question. And then finally when the supervisor, second level control is also done, then you can put it up to the boss, to the person who is really going to be giving you as an authorization. So the authorization of change should become a process, and in process safety management, this authorization of change is one very, very lacking. People are doing just as if I do a change. Now simple thing of changing a pipe. It's a simple thing, changing a pipe. And while changing a pipe, I find that this pipe is required a C-class pipe. Go there, I'm not getting a C-class pipe. What is it going to matter? Nothing. It is only an atmospheric storage, they think. So they say, okay, C-class pipe nahi mila to सादा वाला pipe डाल दो, या GI pipe डाल दो, कुछ भी डाल दो, लेकिन मेरे को line चालू करना है. So you tell your boss, the boss says, okay, I'll study. He goes through, he says, okay, this chemical is not reactive, nothing is there, change कर दो. But C-class pipes are seamless pipes. They may not have welding, may not be there, it may not be proper. And in the same thing in a GI pipe, it may crack and it may result in a very catastrophic thing. So I just say that this is a very, very important that you need to follow a proper. PSM must not be compromised to achieve financial goals. That is one reason, as I said, that many times when it comes to safety issues always take a back seat, and process safety management is always taking a back seat. That can we spend so much of time to discuss on an issue which they feel is not at all. And the pet dialogue comes, for last 30 years, nothing happened in this industry. But one small failure can result in a catastrophe, and that may result in the factory coming to a shutdown. And it also may kill 4 or 5 neighboring industries. And everybody know about the Tarapur incident, near Tarapur factory. What has happened? That factory had an explosion, and it did not take itself only. It took 2 or 3 other factories nearby also, including the Haji? Neighboring factory. So that much amount is there. So, and then you need to set up PSM cell. If you set up a PSM cell, what you can have, that's why PSM is not a safety, that's why I said it is not a conventional or a traditional safety. It should be having a PSM cell when you set up. You should have a chemical person, you should have an instrumentation person, you should have a maintenance person, you should have an electrical and a safety guy. 5 of you all, we make 5 together. These are the 5 pillars for any process industry. And these 5 pillars together should form a part of this PSM cell. This is the thing. A regular PSM audit should be carried out. So recently in a place I did a PSM implementation. They wanted a thing that we start. So I started as carrying out a PSM. I didn't say that I'm doing a PSM audit, because we can do an audit only to a place where there's already a PSM. There is no PSM there. So that first step is making them start implementing a PSM, making them have that all your things you get. all your documents, what all you don't have. Once you are in the process, then we audit it. Then we can see whether it is complying with this. Then you can help them. If you directly go to do a PSM audit, you will find nothing is there. And then when you put thousands of recommendations, nobody will like it. I say it should be having only 50 to 60 recommendations, but those 50 to 60 should be all top drawer recommendations where then management feels, yes, that we have done something. So first thing before we do an audit, we should see that there is a PSM implementation mechanism, and that can come only when you involve and set up a PSM cell. So you have a PSM cell, it need not be like a thing, and once they start doing all the 14 elements, one time, whether it's applicable for you. First step is whether PSM is applicable or not is a question. So right from the application to the end of trade secret, all the 14 elements, one by one you take, and the best way is get it done through a team. Once you set up that, and after that you do an audit, you can find what is the gaps and how it could be further improved. So knowledge and information must be developed to support this PSM culture. So we need for that developing the information. And so that's why I say that is a very important thing. Though PSM concept was initiated in US, it is very useful for process industry. Yes, it may be that. It's not a legal requirement, as I said, directly, but indirectly through MHIC rules and Factories Act, we can make it. Most companies are in the process of adopting it, and it's an excellent system for safe and efficient process operations. So this is what I would like to say, that's why that process safety management must become an integral part of our processes, because and more we are getting hazardous process industries who are trying to move towards the thing of PSM, but doing it in bits and pieces will not help. You have to take it as a total process rather than taking it up. Many places they are thinking, when you talk about term of PSM, hazab karna hai kya? That means they think that PSM is restricted as only to process hazard analysis. Hazab is just one of the 14 part. So 1 by 14 is hazab, and the remaining 13 by 14 is neglected. So that should not be. So that is there. And so it's an excellent system and for safe and efficient operations of process plants. So this is always I say that preventable accidents, if not prevented due to our negligence, is nothing short of a murder. So indirectly, knowingly we do not prevent it, there also we. And this is true with many times when we know that something is wrong, we just turn our eye. Or I heard that best thing, I choose to see the other way. I don't know how many of you all saw the video. It is a video film where I say that people choose to see the other way. Why should I care about it? It's not my concern. So if we take it is not my concern, it could be a thing. So he says that if preventable accidents, if not prevented due to our negligence, is nothing but a murder. So we should be very careful. And finally, thanks. And if you have any questions, I would like to open the floor for discussion, because I always feel discussion is the most important forum. Thank you very much, sir. Yes. Any questions, please?
My name is Prakash Chandekar.
Yes, sir.
So I am very much interested in non-conventional energy, etc. Non-conventional energies.
Yeah.
But I just want to believe how much of this is being applied to atomic plants in India.
Okay, very good question. As far as our thing goes, the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board is an authority which is responsible for atomic energy issues related. They are the statutory legal authority to ensure, and they have got a lot of elements related to process safety management. In the nuclear safety side, it is very well taken off, because all your nuclear power plants, they are now having this process of, and they go much beyond us. They do, we normally are doing HAZOP, which is a qualitative type. They go more for event-tree and fault-tree, which is much more difficult, because event-tree goes to finding out the, quantifying the, by a way of failure rates. So they do an event-tree analysis for this one, and they have started taking a lot of elements, though it is not in our purview. The Indian legislation, as far as the labor safety or labor directorate is concerned, it is not covered to address issues related to nuclear energy or radioactive substances. Even in our hazardous waste management rule, the rules will apply, but does not include municipal waste and radioactive waste generated by under plants under AERB or nuclear. They are the authority. Now, you know, simple thing. Is there a flame arrestor in this room? We are not supposed to dispose this flame arrestor, the sensor, because the sensor has got radioactive material. These all sensors, as per hazardous waste management rules, we are not supposed to. We have to collect it, we have to inform AERB. AERB has to find out how much is the radiation level on it, whether it is acceptable, what it is, and that is to be disposed only through them.
Now, one more thing. This safety aspect you talked about is internal accidents, mishaps, etc. in the plant. In the petrochemical plant, there is a safety officer appointed inside.
Safety officer.
A safety officer is there always.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, safety officer can lose his job if the management doesn't like him. Okay, that's the part, unfortunate part. Now, one more thing. But these plants, if they are giving some environmental concerns like leaking gases, etc., etc., are they covered by this, or is it a separately covered part?
No. Safety, first question of yours, theoretically, if a safety officer is removed from service, he cannot be directly linked to his, because of some incident happened or something. This is sometimes in some places they are using it as a mist tool. He cannot take care of everything. He is an advisor, he is a friend, philosopher and guide for the management. He is a part of the management team to address them how to mitigate the losses. And whenever you take about an accident, as you said in a petroleum or thing, that's why I said persons liable to be affected. There are two types of people who are liable. One is the worker who is within the factory, and the other is a person who is outside the factory, who is adjacent to this, who may be impacted by this hazard. You take the Bhopal gas tragedy. I always ask that how many people inside the plant died? How many workers died inside the plant? Nobody. Till that time, we had no legislation which has any concern of the people outside the factory. Now, the first time it has come in, that's how Environment Protection Act was born in 1986, how this Chapter 4 and how the definition of hazardous process came into. And if you take the process safety management, its root in USA is because of the Bhopal gas tragedy. And the whole 14 elements of process safety, you can directly see in Bhopal gas tragedy, so many things about process safety management has been bypassed by them. They did not have any information on process safety information. They could not tell what is the thing about thing, because it never happened. So they did not have anything. They shut down their process or some processes for sake of cost cutting. That means financial implication. And they did not think, अभी तक तो हुआ ही नहीं, refrigeration cycle की जरूरत नहीं है, इसका पाइप काटो. हमारा काम क्या है, पाइप काटने का और पाइप लगाने का सबसे आसान तरीका है. And about time, that is the biggest hazard. So that is the thing. Okay. So it is that people liable to be affected is also covered by Indian legislation now, under the MHIC rules and Factories Act in hazardous process.
Now recently, this Sterlite factory in Tamil Nadu, it was closed down.
Yes.
That means this external environment factor part of it is not properly enforced. That is one thing.
Yes.
Another, recently this fertilizer factory in Bombay also has the similar thing. That means these external environmental factors are not being imposed properly or not.
No. See there are two different types. One is called as an ambient environment and the other is a workplace environment. Okay. There are two types of environment in any industry. One takes a workplace environment which is in the zone of workers working. But if you take a dispersion, the chlorine may affect the workers inside the thing, but also may affect the workers outside, because we talk about what is called as individual risk and societal risk. In the societal risk, we have to capture the people outside the plant premises. Now you take Sterlite thing. Yes, it has been done because of its impact on the soil, on the workers in that area, and for any other. And the ultimate is the district magistrate also as an inspector under the Act. You understand? He can close the factory under the Environment Protection Act, or he can close the factory also if he wanted under. Now the inspector of factories for some reason did not want to close the factory. Then the district magistrate is empowered to enter with such assistance he thinks fit to enter into that factory, and if he feels under the Environment Protection Act, he can close it also. Okay, and this MHIC rules which I am quoting is all made under the Environment Protection Act 1986. Yes, sir. Anybody?
Sir, you have said in the beginning that in UP there were only 7 factory inspectors out of the total vacancy of 42. Factories Act defines a word, safety officer. But when we look in our country, we find there are no professional colleges in India who are offering competent professional safety officers. Like being me, I have done my BTech from Safety and Fire from Kerala only.
From?
Kerala.
Kerala.
Cochin University.
Which? Cochin Refinery?
Yeah, Cochin University, sir. It's
Cochin
a government university.
Okay.
State government. But the Factories Act says that the safety officer, the designated safety officer must have done industrial safety from RLI. They treat, different states treat differently.
No, okay, I'll correct you. I'll correct you here itself. It does not say from RLI or CLI. It says that you should have a qualification approved by the state government. Now, state government in Maharashtra is the Maharashtra State Technical Board, which there are in Maharashtra, there are more than 23 institutes which are conducting. Now, when it goes to an organization, when they want to recruit people, what type of qualification and what type of experience and qualification and what parameters is that they can fix up at their level. They cannot say, you are saying that, it is RLI, CLI is by the employer who is giving this in his...
I'm saying that, sir, when we talk about competent state government, when we look after different, I worked in UP, the Factories Act of UP. I am working in Gujarat, I am seeing the Factories Act of Gujarat.
Yeah.
In both the cases, they are ultimately not, first of all, they're not treating like I'm a BTech, I'm a professionally qualified person, but I am not a safety officer. I cannot be a safety officer just because I have not done it from industrial safety from any RLI or CLI.
No, you got MGLI is there.
So even
in Gujarat.
the point is, what is government focusing on that? What I'm saying is that we have limited professionals of safety in our country. What we ask in other departmental mechanical engineers, they go for RLI for safety, industrial safety and all. So what government, I don't see for the past 10 years since I'm working, that government has focused on generating qualified safety professionals. That I have not seen for the last 10 years. We are at the same level what we were 10 years before. Lack of qualified safety professionals.
Okay. Yes. I would like to respond to your in one simple thing. What is quality? Now we have many institutes in our country. Just recently I'm a member in many of the WhatsApp group by default or by my own choice. And one of the safety professional has put in India, we lack quality safety officers. And then he went on to say what is a quality safety officer. In Maharashtra, we have got 23 institutes, as I'm quoting, maybe more now, where they are giving the course which is equivalent to the course which is conducted by CLI, RLI. Factories Act is a state subject. And the law clearly says that it is the state government who is to recognize. There are some places where the state government are not recognizing that MSBT ka qualified safety officer in another state. Okay, that is the state to state, there is something. Now, there's one state, Andhra Pradesh, where, we try to remove this thing, that it should not be. But as far as you say that some employers are saying that we want safe people who are qualified from the CLI, RLI or these, etc., that is, they are putting it in their advertisement scope. It is not the law which is saying that, but they want people like that. Now, UPS Dehradun, University of Petroleum Energy and Services Dehradun is becoming one of the MTech Health and Safety Environment. They are becoming one of the institutes where giving MTech in safety. That institute, I'm not vouching for it. I'm not a voucher for any of the institute or anything. The law states. Now that UPS Dehradun is struggling because that is recognized only in UP and Dehradun and no other state in our, because the law of the state has to be amended if they want to bring this inside. Okay, now you have QSAT. Cochin University QSAT is the short form of the Cochin University. I know the professors also who are trying to run this safety. They are doing maybe a good job. The state law has to be amended to adopt to the later changes. That is the simple answer. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah.
Then government of India, like IITs, like NITs, why such courses are not, what you said, why such courses are not introduced in, like other engineering courses are there?
Okay.
Why at a national level, such courses are not introduced so that it can be recognized at a national level? And we
Okay.
can have qualified, I didn't say quality, I said qualified safety professionals.
Yeah. See, the course of CLI and RLI, is recognized by whom? It's not the central government. It's the state government. The course of CLI and RLI is also equal to, I'm telling you technically, quality-wise nahi. On record, the course conducted by CLI is the course equally conducted by a institute approved by the Maharashtra State Technical Board. They are all same. Syllabus is the same. The parameters are the same. The evaluation is the same. And in fact, sometimes our safety officers from the higher up type of institutes are facing problems of certain other issues that is not to be quoted, because even I use the word commonly that walls also have ears. It may be misinterpreted in a different way. So, when it comes to quality of safety officers, many times there is a big gap. Because again they say quality of safety officer, safety is a thankless profession. That's why I said, I'm not a qualified safety man. I did not do my diploma in industrial safety. I don't have any qualification which I can say today that I'm only a, that's why I sometimes use the word, I don't use anywhere I'm not an expert, I'm a safety professional trying to enhance my knowledge and skill. And how knowledge and skill is by the way you take the interest. Now I have been, indirectly I say that, sometimes my wife shouts at me because safety and health has become my first wife. I'm sorry. So much, so at night 2 o'clock somebody once asked me that I have some issue at 2 o'clock. It remembers me of that, some film they show, रात को 10 बजे boss को उसको चिल्लाने के लिए ऐसा कर रहा है ऐसा. My missus said, 2:30, why are you answering that guy? I said, he's having a problem on safety and health. So I'm wedded to him. To safety and health profession, not to the person. Okay, so we have to take it that way. Safety is a thankless job. And if you want to really improve in safety and health, you take it to your, dil hai na? Dil pe chot lagana chahiye. Not, that's why you say work with dil and dimag. Dono ke saath hi hum log proceed kar sakte hain. Okay, thank you, but it's a very good one. Yes, sir.
So first of all, thanks a lot for
Yeah.
sharing all the 14 elements of PSL. My only point is that because we have seen both the sides, you work in government agencies, you are basically also working in. So when I see in Indian context, a lot of companies are going for PSM implementation. They are doing it. But when we compare it with MNCs or some other companies like DuPont, we know that I have also worked in DuPont. I know the commitment level and the effective implementation of PSM on soft floor. So why these things are missing in Indian context when we say our Indian companies as such? As a overall, I am asking this.
Yeah, very good. Basically, in India, I always say when it comes to safety and health, that's why I said in my first statement, we are having what is called as lip service. What is lip service? I am concerned, I am concerned, I am concerned. Every top management, my first agenda in the meetings is safety. Safety is my priority. Nothing overrides this. This all what? Here. After that, the sentence ends. Safety is my priority, full stop. Next he will come, okay boss, we have seen safety is my priority. Now what's the next point of the agenda? Kal, why didn't you make this production, yaar? So useless guys, yaar. Sir, the answer is safety. Haan ji? Somehow. No, then you say, sir, that wall, that safety guy didn't give the clearance. He will not say that it's a process safety issue. What he'll say, that safety wall was permit, I wanted to bypass the permit, sir. He didn't allow me. He came there and put his finger there. वो वहाँ पे काम आके टोक के रोक दिया सर, हम क्या करेंगे? These buggers safety. The next one, safety is my priority is gone. I had a very beautiful video, which I always tell, I'll say, me, the problem, the solution. The problem lies in me, and the solution lies with me. And who this is? It is the safety officer who is going and talking this to the CEO of the company. And when he says, sir, you are a damn lousy guy. The EHS head says to a CEO, you are a damn lousy guy, you have to turn for this. Immediately what that CEO will do? Next, but that CEO was, can you elaborate? Right, come, okay, fine. Don't talk in public. There's many things we talk behind the doors also. Why don't we? Then you said this, can you elaborate? You come here least concerned. You are having you put such a distress, your face. What is your face? Your face is your indicator of your mind and your thing, what you think. अरे क्या रे ये सब वापस ये मीटिंग में जाके बैठना है क्या? फिर वापस वो सेफ्टी वाला आके बोलेगा सेफ्टी कमेटी मीटिंग में पहला वही बात करता है, वही हमेशा करता है. So your mind is as a safety man, you are not at all going and thinking of a. So you are the problem. And what happens? Everybody sees you. Here we have got a very good poster saying that all cars should be parked in take-off position. I went and asked one fellow, what is this take-off position means? That means in case there's an emergency, you run, fly away. That time you start reversing, you bang two other guys. And sir, what do you do, sir? Halfway the safety of that. What do? You come and think you're a big guy, so you go and just park it like this. So everybody sees you and everybody follows you. Safety starts at the top. So we are following you. You are so casual in your approach. The casualty comes into all of us. So then he goes on exciting the CEO, but the CEO was good. If the CEO was bad, because it's a video, I don't know whether it's edited for the purpose of a training or whether it's a real video. But it's edited or not, it sent a message. And today in my behavior-based safety programs, two videos I play, and one is meet the problem, the solution, and the second one, I choose to see the other side. Choose to see the other way. Half the time you see the main problem comes that, ye maja kaam nahi, ye tuja kaam hai. Me kya karna? If you know Marathi, why should I care? It's not my problem. I turn half the way, I choose to see the other way. Because if I see, I can't face you. And this is happening with half of the 90% of the guys in the shop floor in India. We don't have the guts to say, man, stop it. Today I talked to the auto guy while coming, because I came by auto today. And what I told him, sir, don't use the mobile when you are speaking, when you are driving on this. If you want, park it on side, I'll wait to you. Sir, ये बहुत urgent काम है. क्या urgent काम है? मी तिकडे 10 minutes में पहुंचना है. But you to tell him that I'm going to reach in 10 minutes, you are on a traffic signal, you are using your mobile, and may result in a fatality where I am sitting in your motorbike. Half of our people, do we say this? What do you think? I reach my destination, I care a damn for him. This is what I say, that is the thing. Okay, Saab is looking at his mic, he wants to close down. Okay, I always like to have open discussions more than, yes.
Today it is something like quality control.
Quality assurance.
Quality assurance and quality control. People say chalta hai, so similar is the same. Because safety also costs sometimes.
What? Safety also?
Safety has some cost.
Some cost, yeah.
So naturally, some people, they look at the top. From the top they say, money matters. So they neglect it. So this happens. So
okay.
Interest of the management is in the profit. And the safety officer, that's why I said the safety officer can be fired by the management.
Okay, what is, now since you said safety is a cost, do you know what is the cost of an accident and what is the cost of its prevention? The ratio is now going into the ratio of 12:1. If you can prevent an accident, and the cost of an accident is a recurring cost, and cost of prevention is a one-time investment. So we have got so many theories. As safety guys, another thing as safety guys, we all have to prove to the management that safety is not a expenditure. Safety is an investment. It will come in your profit and loss account and not in your trial balance. Now, it will come in the trial balance and not in your profit and loss. Don't take it on the expenditure side or on the income side. Please take it as in your assets and liability, and safety is an asset. Once we should be the drivers of change. Now we are talking about change management. What is cash? There's a very common, cash is dabbu. But for safety, fellow says, change agent for safety and health. The same word I've used. I go to the management that I'm a cash man. Cash man? You are giving me money? No, sir, I'm the change agent for safety and health. I change the safety and health because you have to make an impact. And safety officers come, I just say that safety officer's job is not to tell the management that by doing this you are going to land up with this expenditure. By doing this we are investing on, you're investing, it's an investment, it's a one-time investment which will have returns which you cannot see today, but in years to come it will go on adding to your, in your trial balance. Okay? Yes, sir. Anybody else? And thank you, SOPEP, for giving me an opportunity to share my viewpoints. I don't know how much I did justice to what is the thing, but I try to at least do something for the safety professionals in a little way I could do. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Thank you.
It's okay, fine, sir. We are there. No problem. It was really an excellent, eye-opening session. But, Chandrakant sir, with your permission, can I speak a few words? Okay. In India, we have various ministry, like HRD ministry, labor ministry, foreign ministry, etc. And you are from USA. So USA also there are various ministries. So there is one ministry which is called Ministry of Labor. And this Ministry of Labor has various departments. One of the department is Occupational Health and Safety Administration. In short, OSHA. OSHA passed one regulation in their Congress. Congress means it is like our parliament. In Congress, they passed one resolution which became an act. When it became act, then also it became OSHA, Occupational Health and Safety Act. And what the act says, what is the special in this act? It says the responsibility of the employer and employee. That means the occupier and the employees. Now, forming safety policy is management's responsibility. Forming safety objectives, management responsibility. Making action plan, management responsibility. Hazard identification, risk analysis, management responsibility. Providing training, management responsibility. Providing standard operating procedure and work instruction, management responsibility. Providing personal protective equipment, management responsibility. Everything is employee's responsibility. Then what for employees? Employee is supposed to follow the work instruction, standard operating procedure, and wear the proper PPE. That's all. So, in case of an accident, safety officer is never found guilty. It is the top management who is considered guilty. So, safety manager's role is a consultant's role. He is, what rightly said, he is guide, philosopher, friend who to the management. So, if the management fires the safety officer, it is really a problem. Then safety is not taken care of well. That is number one point. Number 2 point is, very good point he identified. He is silent. Actually, he is my guru in so far safety is concerned. I have 2 gurus in safety. One is Mr. Vishvanathan, other is Mr. Vashi. So, I am sitting along with the 2 gurus, and also I have one mentor. You know that gentleman sitting here with a very attractive tie? He is my mentor so far safety is concerned. So I learned one more thing, very interesting thing. What is difference between management of change and change management? Can you please tell me, sir? He pointed out a very important thing. Management of change is important part of process management. Now, what is management of change? I know one incident, you know. You might have read in newspaper also, it happened around 4 or 5 years back. In one hospital, there was a fire. And around 100 patients and also the employees of that hospital died. You know what is the reason? Because on that particular shift, they didn't have any trained firefighter because the person had taken shift change. And that is management of change. That is management of change. If a shift change is taken, it should be approved through management of change. So the person who is approving should know, in night I have one person who is not trained. So what is the backup? If there is no backup, that change should not be approved. So that is management of change. And what is change management? When you change the management, that means a person, that is called change management. So there is a big difference between change management and management of change. Third, one point I would like to discuss personally with you, that is the Starlight, because I have done some work with Vedanta Group. So I can share experience, but it is not the right forum to discuss with you. Starlight actually is a different issue. It is not at all a regulatory or safety issue. It was a totally different issue. We'll talk to you some other time. We'll discuss one-to-one. Right, sir? So I think the session was excellent. A lot of questions were asked. Still, if you would like to ask some questions, this gentleman is available, named Mr. Vishvanathan. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, sir. So very simple, one word answer is risk assessment was not done. Right, sir? So I don't think any other question is there. Do you want to say anything? No. Yes, sir.
Because you have tried to...
Instigate you.
I didn't want to say it, it's you. That is the management of change process. Sometimes silence is golden. I talk about, usually I talk today about, we always talk about emotional intelligence, but very few people talk about emotional silence. And emotional silence is much greater than emotional intelligence. Okay, so that's, sorry, I had no intention to think, but my words come out automatically, that's the thing. So actually your Sterlite issue, as he said, it is not, I would not attribute it to be totally political. It's not totally political. There is, the Sterlite, at least the Sterlite which was brought in Tuticorin is brought in a process from a place where there were a lot of process safety issues related and which were trying to be addressed by them, but they had taken an outdated process. Sometimes we, Indians are very good at buying scrap things and converting scrap into a very good product. Now you see, when you talk about mechanical integrity, we always talk about the useful life of a equipment. And when you talk about useful life of equipment, we think about its reliability throughout its, which we call as, we use the word in environment, they talk it very much, from birth to graveyard. That means right from the time of its cradle to graveyard. Thank you. So from cradle to graveyard, we are responsible for it. And when we try to retain our equipment integrity, we should think right from that cradle stage till we dispose it of. And we have, sometimes we import certain processes which are economically not viable or economic permitted in that country, but in our country because of, I use the word again, if you see the constitutional provision on occupational safety and health also says that we have sometimes because of economic necessity. You see, we are making some people work in certain processes like child labor is working. It's a total ban in hazardous process. But sometimes we are forced to allow some child workers to work, which is against the thing, because he becomes the bread earner of that family. One small worker at the age of, sometimes I feel a pity to them, but he becomes the bread earner. Sir, मैं नहीं हूँ तो मेरा पूरा परिवार मेरे ऊपर निर्भर है. मैं इसको instead of, don't give him, I said, okay, you're doing something, please take care of yourself, do it safely, don't injure, because you're all the more important for your family. Till your entire life, they're depending on you. Please don't play any mischief when you go inside the plant. Because some people do. And whenever we used to inquire, nobody in the factory, because the management tells, anybody comes and asks you, what's your age? 18 साल बोलने का, 19 साल बोलने का, कभी नहीं बोलने का 16 या 17. Seeing a person, I can tell you whether he's 15, 16 or 17. You don't need to have a medical doctor to certify his age. We have got the law says that the medical practitioner should certify the age of the person. We can find your age by other method without a thing. But the fellow will be trained so well that कोई भी आके आपसे पूछेगा उम्र क्या है? 19 साल. Sir, क्या करेगा? मैं तो ऐसे ही है. I'm a weak guy. Anybody will believe I'm a 60-year-old guy? Surely not. Sir, I am also 18 only. Okay, so thank you very much. And thank you for giving me patient hearings. And we hope to interact more frequently. And if you have any questions at any time, I've given you my mail ID. Most welcome to send me the mail. I will respond as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
See, once again, thank you for the session too. And I am fortunate that I could instigate you for this session too. Okay, so really it was a nice session, and whenever we talk with you, it is something, every time we learn something new. So, once again, thank you, sir. So, may I request Mr. Vankare, SOPEP President, to present a memento to our speaker, Mr. S. Vishvanathan. Thank you, everybody. Let us break for tea. So it is little time we have. We would like to have some more sessions in this technical paper presentation after tea. So in the post-lunch, we should have a very light session, and we would like to interact with the expert in the second half. So that is my intention. Try to finish all technical paper presentation in the before lunch only, so that second half we could interact with the personalities like Mr. Babeja, Mr. Wankare, their subject matter expert, and also Mr. Karkhanis, he is always there with us. So maybe Mr. Chandarkar sir, we would like to get you also. So let us see how fast we can finish the technical paper presentation, then we can have a session here. Right? Thank you, sir.